So it was Mother's Day last Sunday, and I've had some time to sort of reflect on this phase of motherhood, and I feel like I'm still learning. I'm still learning in real time a lot, and you know how people say marriage is like a school that you go to and you don't graduate from. I honestly feel like the same applies to motherhood as well. Um, I know there's no award for being a super mom, and I think sometimes even without meaning to, a lot of us sort of carry this pressure to keep going no matter what, to handle everything ourselves, and, just to keep showing up, to keep giving, to keep pouring out. And somewhere along the line or somewhere along the way, asking for help can start to feel like it's a weakness, right? For me, I know for sure that, motherhood, as we um, no, I don't think it was supposed to be done in isolation. And recently, I got to spend time with some really lovely women. And honestly, I think it was wholesome. Just women in different phases of motherhood. We had good conversations, we shared moments. There was laughter. Little parenting nuggets here and there. I'm sorry, I'm outside. That's the plane. I live close to the airport. I just been around people who sort of get it. And it just reminded me of how important community, sisterhood is, right? The journey requires real community, people who can who, people who you can lean on, people who can understand the season you're in, people who share um, similar values, people who can sort of hold space for you, honestly, right? Not without pretense, right? Because honestly, motherhood can become incredibly consuming, if you let it. You spend so much time, thinking about everyone else that you can slowly disappear from your own radar, right? And I think that's dangerous, right? Because the truth is, we can't give what we don't have, right? We can't keep pouring out from an empty cup. I know it sounds cliche, but that's the truth. We need actual rest. And I've been learning to fight for the rest I need if I need to fight for the me time that I need, right? And I feel like if you're being honest, rest doesn't always just happen. It's something you have to plan for. Sometimes you have to intentionally make, space for it. And sometimes you have to say no. Sometimes you have to let go of that guilt and just say no. And recently, outside of spending time with um, friends, I made space for myself as well, right? I made space for that me time, just quality time to sleep, relax, breathe, and just be still. I really needed it. Yeah, I really needed it. And I find that these days, I no longer feel guilty for needing space, for needing to rest. Needing rest doesn't make you less loving, it makes you human. It makes you human, right? And if your people don't get it, they'll be all right. Just take that rest, just take that time off. You need it, right? And something else, um, there's something else I've been thinking about, and it's about community. It's about just having people to lean on. It's about being that person to people can also lean on. Being conscious of becoming that kind of woman your sisterhood can also lean on safely, right? Someone who also shows up, someone who listens, someone who gives grace as well, someone who creates space for others to come in as well. I think the beauty of real community is that mutual support. It's not like you're the only one receiving. It's the mutual support. So not perfection, just your presence. And maybe that's the part of what motherhood is, teaching me as well. That strength doesn't always look like carrying everything alone. Um, sometimes strength looks like, asking for help. I think I said this in one of my previous videos. Sometimes it looks like resting. Sometimes it looks like choosing community um, instead of isolation, right? So if you're a mother watching this, especially one who has been quietly carrying a lot. This is just a reminder that there's no reward. There's a reward, but there's no award for doing it alone, right? Ask for help if you need to. Build your community, you know, protect your rest. Hop back into yourself as well because, you know, you matter as well. You matter outside of what you do for everyone else. I know it's been almost a week after Mother's Day, but motherhood still looks exactly the same. Beautiful, it's exhausting, it's invisible sometimes, and it's constant. So I would say to every mother doing the best they can, doing the visible and invisible work every single day, happy Mother's Day again. You are deeply appreciated. Thank you for listening.